Okay, so it's time for us to have policy discuss. Let's look at Nigeria's fuel importation. As reports have it, that Nigeria petrol imports surged in 2024, more than doubling despite increased domestic refining capacity. What is going on? Also, in the year 2024, it was reported that Nigeria's fuel consumption decreased. So let's look at both sides of it. What's happening to local refining capacity and also petrol importation in Nigeria. We have an expert who will be doing justice to this. He's an upstream oil and gas consultant, Engineer Alex Neyin, the CEO of GACMORK Nigeria Limited. Good morning. Thank you for making our time to be a part of the show today.
How are you?
All right, sir. So Nigeria's petrol importation increasing in 2024, more than doubling what it used to be, moving from about over 7 trillion to now over 15 trillion. What's your thoughts on it? And yet we have a local refinery that has just started refining petrol. There are others coming on board, though not refining yet.
Well, I think the way I see it is we don't plan before we do things. First and foremost, we said we're going to sell crude at Naira in Nigeria to help the refineries to reduce their request for dollar and all that. You see, you don't just wake up and make decisions. We are doing yo-yo in the country. People should sit down and plan way ahead before they start implementing anything they're doing. We're going through a dollar squeeze now because we didn't plan properly. And suddenly we realize that we didn't plan properly. No, we're going to be selling crude now in dollar. So those refineries like Dangote and the modular refineries, they've set their minds as regards what this policy will do for them, and they are operating accordingly. So suddenly you change the ball game midway. What will that do to them? That's why I said we're operating like you. Anything we want to do in this country, we should look at the short range and the long range over time. But we don't do that. We just wake up, oh, okay, we'll sell it in Naira. Then suddenly you find out that you don't have enough dollar to back up whichever thing you're doing. Then you change. So what about the people you've gone into agreement with? How does it affect their operation? Nobody thinks about that. And that's why I say we are doing a bourgeois setting. We have to be able to come up with what we think will last. Because you are destabilizing the refineries with Dangote and all these other people by just sudden change. So when things like this happen, whatever you are seeing as regards shortages, bringing in more refined product from outside, and all these are expected based on this. And that's why people are very, very skeptical coming to invest in this country. Because today you have a policy, by tomorrow change, forgetting that investment has been made originally, projecting into what the policy were as of that time. Nobody in the world will be happy to do business here. So we have to go back to the drawing board and really be serious and project properly. And that's why I keep saying you cannot put a square peg in a round hole and expect it to work. Let Nigerians wake up. The government should wake up. Anything they want to do, think about it on the long range, how it's going to affect the system. This were not done. In Egypt, oh, we have to sell it to them in Naira. So all the things happening now is a reflection of lack of proper planning, and we are in a mess right now. So to get out of it means we must go back to the drawing board. to go, what we really want to achieve 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Not
Very
just
much. Engineer Alex.
do it, you see failure. And that has been the system also.
The MBS figure of over 103% increase in importation of petrol. What do you think was accounting for this, in spite of the fact that Dangote came on stream in October last year, and then some modular refineries also were producing? Why are we consuming more import petrol?
Well, long time ago, this was more than 10, 15 years ago, I've always maintained that the figures we are carrying as our consumption is not real. Because at one time I sat down and calculate all the vehicles that are being imported into the country, the ones on street, the ones that are broken down, that are not even moving, and it's okay, let's assume they have full tank every day. And when I did that calculation, what the NNPC was showing as our consumption never jived that. And you know, all the broken down vehicles, they are not consuming fuel, just for mathematical purpose. So let's take all the vehicles that are broken down, the ones that are no longer on the roads, everything statistically. And so, okay, each of these vehicles take X volume of petrol times the number of vehicles. When I put the thing together, it didn't match what NNPC was projecting as our consumption. It was far, far lower. So that in itself is an indictment of information given to the public. And I said it on telly. And what that meant that time was that the fuel was being taken outside Nigeria, not the fuel that is being consumed within the country. And it's a syndicate thing. Here we are again with this present situation. If I were in Dangote's position, looking at the amount of money I've spent to build that refinery, people might think the man has the money. No, it's a loan. Take money from here, take money from there to build it, and you make your projection as regards what the payout time would be to pay off all your loan before you start going on cruise control, which is start making money. So any opportunity I have to sell my crude at a point where I make foreign revenue, I will go there. When you do that, the supply into Nigeria will be reduced. And that means that shortfall must come from somewhere. But I'm looking at the whole thing as a racket. We are not sincere with ourselves. This country have people at least that can still do things right. We are not being sincere. The supply into Nigeria compared to the number of vehicles is not jiving. So something is wrong. Who is looking into it? We have investigative agencies. Even if they cannot do it, call people who know about the industry. They'll give you tips. A journalist is not a petroleum engineer, but a journalist can dig information out using the practitioners to get information. Similarly, an investigative system will be able to prove all these things if they meet the right people and start picking the pieces together. There is absolute cohesion and collusion going on to really ruin this country.
Thank you very much, Engineer Alex.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Engineer Alex. Earlier, whilst you were responding to the question, you referenced some mathematical calculations that you have made, and you felt that some of the calculations that the NNPC has churned out to Nigerians is not, in support of what you have made. There seem to be some differences. So now let's make some mathematical sense. In 2020, between 2020 and 2021, the level of petrol importation into the country doubled from 2020 to 2021. In 2020, it's about 2 trillion naira. In 2021, it's about 4 trillion naira. And now, from 2023, it's about 7 trillion naira to what we've seen. And in 2024, we're told it's about 15 trillion naira. Can you possibly, what could be the mathematical causes of this? Let's even assume that these figures that have been given to us are correct. What could it be the cause? Could it be by virtue of the dollar, or could it be by what other thing do you think?
That's why I said we are in a quagmire. We're in a quagmire in the sense that we must be truthful to ourselves.
Okay.
And every Nigerian must take this country seriously for us to get out of this. The undercurrents of what is going on, if it's something you can put in a mathematical Argan plane to solve, it's going to take the whole year solving it. The bottom line is we have to play a honest game as Nigerians to ensure this country goes on a smooth ride. Interest here, interest there. To get all this interest working, there have to be some lie games somewhere to keep it going. That's why I said we have investigative agents in the country. Let them go back to the books 10, 15 years back. It will be very easy to reveal all these things. At one time, we were importing fuel. If the fuel comes in, they will say, okay, we import 100 million liters. The DPR then will go through it and say, yes, 100 million liters, quality goods. And at some point, we found out that quality was not right. The volumes they're carrying was not right. So we have to go back and do something drastic, because the principle of crime and punishment will stop crime. If there's no crime and punishment system whereby people who defraud this country and do the wrong things are still being left and recycled in system, we will continue to be where we are. So I don't see any magic happening to us if we continue this principle of crime and punishment is not holy. Where you commit crime, they bring you out. After a while, you go to your village. Villages will give you shiftings. So what is the incentive not to commit crime? This is a crime cycle until somebody wakes up and say, hey, let's fight this crime cycle. A lot of this thing will continue to be in place. That is the truth.
All right, talking about fighting the crime cycle. So when President Tinubu announced the subsidy was gone in 2023, there was uproar. But even from June 2023 to September 2024, the NNPCL says the federal government of Nigeria owes its exchange rate differential between that period, which sort of gives credence to the illusion of some Nigerians that there is still subsidy at some level ongoing. Now, if we're talking about how much the petrol import cost in Nigeria has increased year after year, is it because of this system in place? Now, if we were to move completely away from subsidy, do you think that would check us having the issue of having a difference between what we actually consume and what we are told we import because of the consumption that is being given to Nigeria, consumption figure that is given to Nigerians?
I think about more than 15, 20 years ago, this issue of subsidy came up. And I think I appeared in Channel or one of these stations. And I asked the question, who is subsidizing who? And people thought it was a joke. Who is subsidizing who? If you get 100 million being consumed, and somebody says they bring 200 million, the 200 million, the person says it brings in, 100 million is the consumption. 200 million is what they claim they bring in. So you calculate your subsidy on 200 million. That volume of surplus, where is it going? I just don't, in most cases, I don't like, talking about these things because we know exactly what is going on. But a lot of us are not opportune to face the reality on ground. Everybody in this country knows what is going on. We're only just pretending. Who is subsidizing who? That was a channel to draw money out of the place, and people succeeded, make billions out of it, with all of us clapping. Now we are in this situation again. We have the refinery producing. We give them a Naira price for crude rather than a dollar, create all the necessary incentive, and yet we are still struggling. This needs thorough investigation, and they will get to the root of it if we are really serious. If we can't, let's spend money, bring some foreign people, if possible, to come and investigate for us. Because when we do it ourselves, man no man comes to play, and facts are being hidden. We are not supposed to be in the mess we are. Even countries that produce less than us, the way they organize themselves, they can't. Stolen crude, all this, these are part of who we are, and we are celebrating this mess, glorifying people who are just looting the system. So where do we go from there? As a matter of fact, I appeared this morning on this program. I was a little bit hesitant because I'm just sick and tired of simple solutions that could yield results. And because of the nature of who we are and the way we operate, we're just dribbling around. This whole thing is simple to solve by going through due diligence, proper investigation. Those who are involved, kick them out. Nobody is an island. Nobody is indispensable. Catch somebody doing this type of thing, the next thing you see people rallying around is still the person that should be there. And this, that, without him. Who says without him, nothing can happen? That is what is killing this country. We just have to learn how to bruise. The principle of crime and punishment, if we adopt it and wipe these guys, it will now bring some sanity. And everybody going into any seat will now start thinking properly.
Alex, I'm immobilized now hearing this from a practitioner. And we have been around this circle for too long. And for us to expect that those who are in the ruling class will commit a class suicide to even spearhead this investigation is going to be a tall order. What do you think are the alternatives to actually resolving and dealing with this Kaba syndrome in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria?
Well, I think we need a general overhaul. In Warri here, we say, now where daybreak, I'm out. So we have seen that we are not making progress. The refinery, when Dangote came up with 650,000 barrels a day refinery, I was so impressed that, look, at least this will kill this hydra-headed system. Because even countries that produce less than us, they are not suffering what we are suffering. They are able to manage what they have their internal consumption taken care of, and even export. Look at where we are. Where we are is a shame, and it's a reflection of all of us who are in this industry. Because Nigeria has spent a lot of money training all of us train a lot of people, sound eggheads around. Now, go back to the drawing board, pick some of them and let them put things together. You have people in the university. You have people from the industry who are retired and all that. This circulation of people that are within the same, this is not going to yield any result because you closing this gate here, you're opening another one there. That's why I say the principle of crime and punishment. So if it doesn't, we will not get out of this mess. So first and foremost, you go into the production. All the oil companies producing, are they producing at efficient cost? Why is it that in Nigeria, there's permanent security presence around oil companies? We don't carry guns before. All these things are added costs into the system. You cannot get the soldiers or police or all of them out of the oil circles now because that is a money yielding venture for everybody. It's not so anywhere. It wasn't so when I came to join this country, this oil company in 79. We go to villages, no security, nothing. Now, if you tie security costs alone into what the oil companies are doing, it's a lot. You take a place, you will now have to have a boat, work boat filled with soldiers and say, this is a house boat for security people. All these things are increase the cost. Even the refineries themselves, being that here they are on land, you fence it and all, the amount of money they spend on security. So we are not being honest. Let everybody lay down their arms.
Engineer
How
Alex.
much food can anybody eat? What do you guys want?
Hello,
so
Engineer Alex, can you hear me?
All these issues, we will be able to.
All right, Engineer Alex.
Where we're supposed to.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I had to butt in here. Now, we've seen all these inconsistencies and anomalies playing out in the system. What can we do to people like, what can we do to, promote the participation of private persons in the industry like Dangote, other modular refineries, and new incomers into the system so that we can have a robust system that will sustain our economy?
You see, so many licenses have been given out for modular refineries. If you close to the people who had this, even Dangote, before it gets to the point is the obstacles they go through to get things done. If you know it, you'll feel sorry for them. From table to table, approval for site, this, that, all these things they have to do because I know so many of them that I've worked with. You want to get approval just for site inspection, you go and pay money somewhere off record. If you know how these guys are being strangulated by the system, you feel sorry for them. I won't dare to go into things like this because I have zero tolerance to corruption and bribery. So I can stay on the sideline and help the people, but those areas, I don't want to see them because it's not in my character and nobody can take that from me. But these guys, they will go borrow money to meet certain requirements, either in ministry or this or that. So there are so many people with licenses now, you find out they cannot do anything. Because even foreign investors that come, when they see all these things, at the 0 hour, they are ready to give money. They say, no, I don't want to do this because the policies here, they are not stable. So those of them who have modular refinery and the Dangote and other, I drop my heart for them. How they are able to meander through this whole array of dangerous system and they are able to get their plants running. So these are some of the issues. And until we really wake up, because those coming in, I just feel sorry. If you know some of them, call them. They will not want to disclose what they are giving out in different places to be able to get small approval here and there. EIA, you do it, they say, no, we are not satisfied. Use this contractor. If you don't use this, all kinds of things. Nobody, I don't have that zeal. So there are so many things. You are just seeing these people there now. Refinery, Water Smith have refinery. if they tell you all the hassles they go through, you weep for them. So we all know this. How do we take care of
Engineer
this?
Alex Neyin, as you're on that path, could you react to the, according to the NNPCL, renegotiation of the Naira for crude deal with the local refineries, specifically Dangote? There was reports earlier that the NNPCL is suspending that deal after the first 6 months expiration, which will be at the end of this month. But the NNPCL have put out a statement saying it is not suspending, it's actually renegotiating the deal. Now, what are do you have concerns regarding the renegotiation? And what do you think will be the impact on local refining if that deal doesn't continue, the Naira for crude deal doesn't continue?
Yeah, that's why I said when you change policy, you destabilize the owners and this refinery system. Because when you come up with a policy, look, we'll be selling crude for you at Naira. So to them, we'll be getting our crude in Naira, which is a local currency. That is a relief. So you set your program in that direction. So somewhere along the line, when you change it, it means they now have to source dollar to buy the crude from you, which is a rougher terrain. We all know how easy it is to get dollar to buy things. So when that happens, it creates destabilization for them. It destabilizes them. This is the direction I'm going before, but right now, this direction is changing. How do I adjust? If it's just basic adjustment, it's okay. But in terms of cost, it is an expensive adjustment in terms of cost. So by the time you do that, before you stabilize, you've lost money, you've lost time, you've lost strength, because it's like going to work afresh. That's why I said, if we as a country sit down and come up with proper regulation and laws to guide our system, which should be last longer, it will go for a long time. Then it gives the businessmen and those who want to go into the business assurance that in the next 50, 30 years, we're going to be on based on this rule. This situation now, Dangote and all of what
coming on the
them
show
have to go back to the drawing board. So it's not going to be easy for them. And it's a disincentive for others who are behind, waiting to join. See what has happened to this man. I'm not there yet. So what I'm saying is, let us sit down as a country. We have enough resources to be able to refine enough for ourselves and even export. Let us do a brainstorming exercise. Where are the bottlenecks?
Well, we hope that in the course of the renegotiation, all of these are addressed, and then the president and every stakeholder in the oil and gas industry actually sits down and find better ways to improve the oil and gas sector in Nigeria. We've been talking with Engineer Alex Neyin, who is an upstream oil and gas consultant, the CEO, GACMORK Nigeria Limited. Thank you again, sir, for being on the show today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Any day. Thank you.
You're welcome.